Hello everybody, this is Mariel Sarmiento, and here is my discussion post for MPA 560, and I will be going over the problem analysis and variables for my program. So in 2023, 3,725 individuals were found to be experiencing homelessness within Riverside County. Of them, 229 were transitional aged youth, or TAY, ages 18 to 24, and this data was pulled from the point-in-time count specifically. This happens once every 2 years within our county, where volunteer surveyors go out to count the homeless population. So, of the 229 TAY that were found to be experiencing homelessness, 154 of them were experiencing unsheltered homelessness specifically, meaning they were literally out in the street and not sheltered within, an emergency shelter or receiving, support with like a motel, hotel voucher. So on a separate note from the point in time count, and this is more background to the problem, there's data pulled and stored within a coordinated entry system, or CES for short, and that also captures our homeless population, but instead of the point in time count that happens one day out of 2 years, this data is constantly being updated by agencies that are homeless service providers. So the data is very different and skewed when looking into the point in time count, because it's majority observational, done by volunteers, and again is only once every 2 years. So the problem that I'm identifying is that the system that we currently have is not designed to capture the homeless youth population, as they do have different patterns from our general population. Youth are in school most of the time when the count is happening, and a lot of the times their homelessness is more hidden. They are able to couch surf, meaning stay at a friend's house, or find other avenues, but it doesn't mean that they aren't experiencing homelessness where, they don't have a stable place to stay. So all this to say that our youth homeless numbers that are being captured in our coordinated entry system that's being regularly updated is actually higher than the numbers that we get from the point in time count. So our youth are not being captured accurately within the system that we have, meaning that we aren't able to accurately determine what types of services are needed and how much is needed by the youth and in what areas of the county. With Riverside County being so huge, this is a big problem when we're trying to solve youth homelessness. Now going into my variables, the independent variable is the number of transitional aged youth 18 to 24 experiencing homelessness, and this is an interval ratio because it's just the numbers by themselves. There's no categories, it's just the number of youth in the PIT count data and then the number of youth in our CES data. Then my first dependent variable is my program, the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program, and its availability with the different housing projects that it funds. So this will be nominal because there's no rank or within the categories, so it's just the availability, bed availability, within transitional housing, rapid rehousing, and then permanent supportive housing. Then finally, my second dependent variable is the supportive service projects, or drop-in centers, with coordinated entry system access. So a little bit of background on this. Within YHDP, there are drop-in centers that provide supportive services only, but a key function of these drop-in centers is that there are staff on site that have access to CES so that if they do come across a homeless youth, they're able to capture them into the system. So for this variable, it will be ordinal because there are categories for it. There will be the existing centers with no access, and then the existing centers with access, but there isn't much traffic, meaning they're not able to capture the youth because either they're not coming by or their outreach needs to be strengthened. And then finally, we have the existing centers with access, and they do have the clients. So youth are aware of this center and know to go there if they're experiencing homelessness. And with that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. As always, this is my contact information. If there are any questions, please feel free to reach out. Or if you have any feedback, because I'm always open to learning more and seeing if there's other ways to kind of go about this. So thank you.